Alright, so Star Wars: A Skeleton Crew, the Disney Plus Star Wars series, has officially wrapped up with its finale, and we're now here to officially talk about the entire thing, especially from the show in general, especially breaking down the finale and going over the ending for what I think that it could be a potential stuff after the show as well. And so that's what I'm doing for you guys in this video. It's just like breaking down my thoughts on the show and kind of go over everything on what I liked, and even possibly going over the finale, and plus there will be spoilers, and also talk about like what this means for the future of Star Wars projects, and if it can aim at this level as well. And so, if you're new, then be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so much on any future videos, including for reviews and so much more. But now, let's get right into it. And now, I want to start by saying that with Skeleton Crew, that is basically this coming-of-age story, and I think this is a different type of show that we've seen in Star Wars, and its approach to it, because even that it's about like a group of kids that like stumble upon a ship, that they land on a planet, and that they are like chased by pirates and bounty hunters, and then they have to find a way to find their way home. And it's sort of like an adventure combined in Star Wars. And I think this is a very different show, which I really liked, because even though like I really liked where it was heading, like I think it gets better after every single episode, plus with the direction that they decide to take with it, and even with the people behind it, and especially as they got really talented people to direct these episodes. And because I'm mainly thinking that like with these kids, now I think they're relatable, and it's especially with Neil, who's like the cutest character in the show, and it's especially with Wim and Neil, that like perfect for a sidekick duo. But even with the rest of the kids that did brilliantly in the show, and like especially for the way that the story is handled, and with the way, and that it's not like connected to anything. It's not connected to anything in the Skywalker saga or anything within that timeline. It's its own self-contained story, and that's what I love from it, because I think it's a different approach, a different take on the franchise, because I think people have really tuned out on the show. I mean, based on how they looked at it, and even though this is a coming-of-age story aimed towards a younger audience, but that's how I liked it. And even though I liked going to every single episode with curiosity, and even though like at the halfway point I felt so excited, because they're like also reveals and twists, especially like with like every bits and secrets that are unfolded, like, and especially when the kids are trying to find their way home. And I think the Bryce Dallas Howard episode 6 was generally my favorite, as we get to learn about a friendship with this group, and like it's got full of heart, and it's really heartfelt, and it's just a really cute show that doesn't get enough like talked about. But that's why I really liked it, especially with the score and everything that is combined, and everything they ever want from Star Wars, and even with the people that are describing this show as like as a kid that grew up watching Star Wars for the first time. That's exactly what I felt like. And even towards the penultimate episode, it's not like, man, it gets so crazy with the big reveal, and even with the addition of Jude Law that plays the character of Jod in the show. I really like his character perspective, but even with the hidden twist that is behind him, and it gets so much better every single episode. Plus, like there are some like amazing sequences that go down, and just with the kids and their chemistry on screen, it is really beautiful. It is really nice, and I think like. Oh man, like I think this is definitely what Star Wars needs in their future, and plus even though they don't have a show that's like outside of like any other trilogy, I also want to point out that even though I wasn't following up with the show week to week, and it was nice to like binge it all at once. I mean, since like it was nice following every single path that the story was taking, and I just loved what each character's backstory was, and how it all led up to this point, and especially with the finale, which I thought was very, very good. It didn't like, I mean, leave me with a curiosity for like another season, but there are some potential stuff for another season if they decide to. But it doesn't leave on like a cliffhanger or some kind of major cameo or any high expectations. It's just a very good finale that kind of left me satisfied, and I don't know, it made me want to crave more as well. And every single person that was on the show definitely nailed everything, and especially with the atmosphere and the way that the show looks and feels, so sort of like a different show. I think people are going to be talking about like years down the line or not, or whatever the fact, and I think this is a different take on the entire thing. Like, just like, wow, like I think, like, I mean, I know that this is a different type of Star Wars show, but I think it is a great, cute show, especially for the young people out there. And now I want to break down the finale of this show. And now, especially with episode 8, is that we see the kids are reunited with their parents after being returned home to Aden. And then, especially with Jod, who is revealed to be, as we learned in the show, that he is actually a bounty hunter, that he is a pirate, and we all knew that, we shouldn't trust him, but even though that he was helping out the kids to try to get home, that we know there was something up with his character, and then, like, especially as, like, he didn't want to be threatening, but he wanted to create peace, and this way he was threatening all of them. And now, especially like with the pirates and the bounty hunters that were making their gateway through to their home, and basically what the kids and the parents' mission was, it's just like a close the barrier in order for the X-Wing, the good guys, to come in and to wipe the pirates out. And even though I had like certain emotions going into this finale, because I thought it was definitely very good, and even with how like their world and their home was threatened by these pirates, and even though with the action, it is really, really good, and I just felt that way going into it. And with the pirates and the way they were all threatening the people of Aden, even with these moments that got me in emotions, and especially between KB, Wim, and Neil, that are about to save the world, and especially to get rid of these pirates that have invaded their home, and even right here with Fern and her mother, or like worried this is a life or death situation, as if they are about to die, and for how that they can accomplish this mission and to save everything, and especially with Jod that's like looking over them as like they're about to do something, and like it's kind of in like a really disturbing way, and I like how they approach this dark theme in here, and it's sort of like in like a dark way for a finale like this. Plus, even with Jod and his backstory, and it is revealed, because especially when he was growing up, that he was like in a hole until a Jedi found him, that he was a starving kid. And that's what was really interesting, but it was really tragic in a way, and so I was wondering if Jod ever became a Jedi. We don't know yet, but I think like who was the person that like took him home, because especially as he was spotted by a Jedi that we don't pretty much know about, because especially with KB, and I thought that she was gonna die, because especially as she was like letting the ship, as it was going out of control, to not be like a safe landing. Like, I felt emotions, like as like if she was about to die, and that's something that like I got in very emotions with, and oh man, like. And now I want to go over the ending to the show, and that's with the kids and parents that are trying to save their home by trying to flip the switch that closes the barrier to let the good guys of the X-Wing come through. But even with Jod, that is preventing them from even doing it, because even with the way that he was acting and the way that he was portraying his character arc as such a threat, as both a pirate and a bounty hunter, and to even be killing some of them, including for Wim's father, but with Farah, and she's the one that flips the switch, and then with the barrier that it closes, and we see like the X-Wing coming in and destroying the pirates and their ship, and this is the most amazing moment ever. It's so cheerful, and I like how this finale was like so simple, even though there were big moments and reveals and twists and turns. But it was a nice little finale. But even though it was a little bit underwhelming, but still, it really came out on top for a very good ending. And then, especially with everyone that reunites, especially with the kids that reunite with KB after who we thought was dead, that she crash landed her ship, and then with the kids that they discover that she is indeed alive, and then especially with Wim that like looks up and sees like a ship, and possibly if it's like a Jedi or something like that up in the sky as it is flowing towards them, and that's how the whole show ends. And especially with that ending right there, I would have liked to see like a cliffhanger that would have teased probably like another season, but I don't know if that's officially confirmed. But hey, this is like a nice little way to tie a bow on this show. And especially with my final thoughts in general for what I thought of Skeleton Crew, I think this is a different type of show, a different take, and I think of what John Watts adapted into this story is really brilliant, especially from the first, and he also directed the finale as well. And because I think, I don't know if the future of Star Wars is in good hands, but I think they should make more projects that are like different in the universe of Star Wars. It is completely expansive. Like, especially, for example, Andor, that is a drama series, and also with the Skeleton Crew, make more shows based on the different types of genres within this franchise. But I think with the Skeleton Crew, it is way different, especially with the coming of age vibes with these children, and I think this was a very good show, and it ended with a good finale that really came out on top, and that's what I really enjoyed from it. It's very good, cheerful moments, also very heartfelt emotions, and some really fun stuff, also some twists and turns as well, and with the performances from the kids and so much more. That's what I really like about it as well. So yeah, that's all I gotta say from here. But that's gonna do it for this video. Just let me know in the comments below, and what are your thoughts on Skeleton Crew, what are your thoughts on the show, and what are your thoughts on the finale, and if you'd like to see another season, but what do you think of the entire show? Just let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the notification bell for future videos. And you'll also follow all my social medias over the link down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.